Postmortems are crucial, but only if they are productive. They lead to some sort of a resolution and keep the conversation going. So we can eventually arrive at what's gone amiss for the Indian men's cricket side, especially the test team. In this case, seems like there's a clear divide in where the fault lies. Public sentiment is large and fingers are pointing towards head coach Gautam Gambhir. But he has his supporters in some very strong senior voices in the Indian cricket fraternity. So where does the buck really stop? Now, there is one good thing coming out of this whitewash. Is there any at all, you may wonder? There is. That the BCCI, the Indian Cricket Board, won't take any drastic steps just yet. They are waiting, and in their own words, there will be no knee-jerk reactions. Good so far, but there's more. They have taken note. There is a sense of acknowledgement that work has to be done, and there is a need for repair. So where does the axe fall? Cricket functions very differently compared to other team sports like football. In football, the coach or the manager is who takes all the calls largely. The buck stops with him because the reins of a team are in his or her hands. In cricket, it's a little different. Although a coach can be well equipped to be the decision maker, a lot of the strategizing happens on the field. So the captain, alongside his core, take those calls, and it's minute by minute. But safe to say, the synergy between the coach and captain is essential. That's what really makes all the difference. We saw that during the Gary Kirsten and MS Dhoni era. Kirsten was the perfect foil, and the result was a World Cup India had never won in decades. Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli, it was not about Shastri teaching them how to bat or bowl. It was about what he could contribute as a mentor and a man manager, how he can motivate that dressing room. We've heard enough and more anecdotes of exactly this. That series win against Australia down under is testament to it. Of course, credit also to Ajinkya Rahane for stepping up during that tour. Switch to the pair that followed up. Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid synced immediately, and the result was a T20 World Cup. We've heard both of them singing praise of each other. These are not just tales I'm narrating, they represent facts, the hard truth. And of course, it resulted in a T20 World Cup win, which was memorable. Now, sure, it has not been too long since Gautam Gambhir took charge here, but he made some moves soon after. And that tells me he's the man in charge. And this is how he wants things to be. Leaving out certain players, bringing in certain others, that's clearly not just the skipper's call here, especially since he's a young leader himself. And in Gambhir's own words, this stint so far has been a grand success.
I'm the same guy who got results in England, and I'm the same guy under whom won Champions Trophy and Asia Cup as well. Yes, this is a team which has less experience. They need to keep learning, and they are putting everything possible to turn the tide.
So logic here is, if you take the praise, you might as well have to take the big bats. You do not need to look too far for that. India's test record is for everyone to see. This is what they've won, of course, so far. They've won 2 series against Bangladesh, and of course that comes later on as well. But as you look at the series coming up, that's the only win, and after that there's a string of losses against New Zealand, against Australia. The one against New Zealand hit them hard because that was at home, a whitewash. The positive, of course, is the way the team really came from behind and clawed their way back and gave England a fight in that away series. That was a landmark one. A series win against West Indies doesn't really say much, but then, of course, that glaring whitewash against South Africa. Which brings me back to the point I started with. Where does the buck stop here? Senior cricketers Sunil Gavaskar and R, Ashwin, to name a couple, backed the coach and put the blame squarely on the players. To them, it was all downhill thanks to lack of application, no adaptation, lack of intent, and the team just not showing up when it really mattered. But it cannot be just that, can it? There has to be a combination of various factors that amount to India not being able to win at home, almost seeming like they've forgotten how to do it or get it right. While the execution ends on the field, truth is it begins in team meetings and selections before it. Are the players secure? Do they understand and know what their roles exactly are? Sure, it's important to be able to do what the team asks and demands of you, no matter the situation. That's what international cricket is about, or any sport for that matter. But at what stage in your career exactly, and for how long? Because not everyone can be a Rahul Dravid in a test format or a KL Rahul in the shorter formats. Even they were given some time in. And doesn't a lack of role definition point to just more confusion? Where should certain players bat? What about the ones who are performing and have suddenly been dropped? What's the communication like in that dressing room? Is it as transparent and brazen as the press conferences seem? These are some questions that really need answering. And this is just at the surface of it all. Constant changes, some unfortunately due to injuries, also add to the woes. Basically, the foundation itself then is precariously unstable. A heartening thought was the captain Shubman Gill's tweet after the series asking everyone to keep the faith and they'll continue to perform. But we have all probably reached a point where words alone are not enough. The larger point to ponder is this: how solid can an execution truly be if the blueprint itself is patchy?
I wore the crown of a revolutionary. I promised to lift my nation. I claimed to fight imperialism. I became the very thing I warned against. I funded militias across continents. I feared my own shadow. Some called me the King of Kings. History calls me something else. The dictator. Who am I?